Last week, Jacob Reed edged Eric Neef and the championship leader to the finish line in another Daytona Classic. And as we hit the home stretch in this month of draft tracks, will the championship contenders hold on to take the championship lead away from Eric? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 5 of the iRacing IMSA Vintage series. And you will see it all live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. Hello everyone, I am Craig King, and with me in the booth is Ozzy Puhaka. Our director today is Daniel Costello, and he will be using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. It is the first time the drivers have raced at Road America since the Road America 500 earlier this year, so expect a different race compared to then. So for more information about this iconic track, here is the GSRC track guide.
Welcome to Road America. Nicknamed America's National Park of Speed, it's easy to see why just by looking at how the track is laid out. Long straights are a major feature, and drivers will build up incredible momentum before they find themselves interrupted by tight 90-degree corners. In fact, for a 4-mile circuit, it has shockingly few turns. It also has little in the way of variation in layouts. The main course is only broken up once with a single chicane added in the bend version. But don't take this to mean that it's a boring track. Elevation change happens many times over a lap, with a few places taking you into corners which are quite blind. But 2 of the turns on the back half of the course are perhaps the most distinctive. One is the carousel with its more than 180-degree radius. It just feels like it never stops. The other is the kink. Terrifyingly fast with very little runoff, it can end someone's race in a flash. As you'd expect, the heavy braking zones make for some ideal overtaking spots. Turn 5 sees plenty with its downhill entry. The hurried downs can offer drivers a chance at a sneak attack if you're brave, and then Canada Corner gives you one last shot before the lap is over. It's no wonder major organizations such as IMSA, IndyCar, NASCAR, and the SCCA all host major races here. All in all, many drivers rate this track as the best track in North America. Many who hop in the seat and try it can quickly understand why.
Well, that's the track guide. I think we may need those sunglasses you were wearing earlier, Ozzy. Why don't you take them off for a second and give us a nice little guide around what these drivers will expect today?
Yeah, it's about to get real. We're at Road America in Wisconsin, one of the best racetracks for these cars. There's a reason the Road America 500 takes place here. You got 14 turns, 4 miles, around 6.5 kilometers for those not metrically challenged, and it's a high-speed circuit, as you can see on the screen there, as Joe Peak just talked about in the track guide as well. Should be very good for these cars. Remember, it's a multi-class race, meaning you got Nissans and you got Audis. Vastly different speeds, but there's plenty of room for overtaking despite the track not being overly wide. So it's a bit narrow in places, still should be plenty of room, still should provide for excellent racing due to the amount of overtaking opportunities as well.
Yeah, let's hope we don't see any big wrecks at the kinks today, and we will knock on wood when we say that. There is a championship, as I was talking about, and we will go over those championship standings as Eric Neef, as I mentioned, leading the championship at A-Tour Sintez Galindo. Didn't have a great week last week, but he is still 1 point, and then Dustin Hirota as well. Not a good week. He is just close there, but the top 5 separated by 12 points. In fact, call it the top 8. Look how close they all are there. 14 points separates you being in the podium to outside, almost at the bottom of the top 10. Keep your eyes on Jungbluf and Valenteus this week. What, though, Ozzy, about those GTOs?
Well, in the GTOs, we got an interesting situation. You got Mickey Friesen leading the championship by 25 points. And get this, Greg, no wins yet this season on the broadcasts. He's been on the podium in every single race. That's what you call consistency. Arturas Kundelis in 2nd place, and you got the Norwegian Uwe Trengereid rounding out the top 3 ahead of Noel Luneburg and Josh Brain. So that's your top 5. A bit larger gaps than GDPs, but then after Noel, you got a tight scrap of guys: Josh Brain, Emilio Di Cari, Andrea Schuster, Jordan Van Hickse, a race winner this season as well, Doug Loud and Max Carpechin, all been in like 10 points or so. So you still got championship that is fairly young. We haven't reached halfway point this season, meaning lots of points up for grabs.
Still waiting. Mickey Friesen's still waiting for his first broadcast win as we go to the race details. First broadcast win forever. I don't want to say it like that. If anyone's watching cheering Mickey, I apologize. Race details, though, we get back to the standings. Round 5 of 12, as you see, it's 40 minutes today, not the 3 hours that you would see in the Road America 300 open setups. All these drivers running what they want and no spare car. You hit one of those walls out there, the old school concrete barriers, they will take you. Drive-through penalty, of course, at 17x. I think we may see people go close to that today. Disqualification at 25 incident point. Going to be very interesting to see if anybody does come a little bit closer to that, as qualifying is starting. The GTPs already setting their first lap. Some of the GTOs out there already. There is the information. 77 air temp, 25 if you're in the Celsius. And that track temp, 30C, that's quite cold, Aussie, it feels like, when it comes to Road America.
Yeah, sort of, kind of. Well, it's in the average range, but the reason it is so cold, it is because you can see those clouds up there blocking the sun. It is mostly cloudy today. We haven't quite got into overcast, but it's got mostly cloudy cloud cover, meaning that all that sun, all that warmth is not getting to the circuit. So despite the air being fairly warm, the track isn't overly hot, meaning tires will take a little bit longer to get warm, but you also got a bit more grip as a result of that. As we watch Jacob Reed abandoning his lap, and Audius Valentius apparently in P1.
Yeah, Valenteus, he is driving the GTPs this weekend. Was in the GTOs last weekend with a last to first. He's coming around to the final few corners. Actually, he's down in the carousel. Time it right on the throttle around here. You can see he's doing quite well. And you do see those timing towers as well. On the left, Noah Lundberg leading the GTOs. As there is that kink I mentioned earlier. We don't want to see too many incidents out there today. I think all of us in the booth can say we've had our moments out there through Canada Corner, hard braking down for Canada Corner, and then up to the Bill Mitchell bend. Try and get on that throttle to avoid the curb onto the final corner, turn 14. They do call this a dangerous corner for overtaking. He's going to race up to the start-finish line. Looks like it's going to be another good lap. He's already half a second faster than Jacob Reed in second. Is he going to improve? No, it's similar to his first time.
Very, very consistent within 4/100ths of a second as we watch Noel Luneburg, the current GTO leader, the Benelux driver, of course, approaching the Canada corner right here. Not named because of it's anywhere near the Canadian border, but rather because there used to be, I think it was some sort of Canadian tourist board thingy right outside that corner, but we are about 400 miles from the Canadian border, because there used to be an old running joke in Finland that the corner is called Canada Corner, because if you miss the braking zone, you're gonna end up in Canada. Missing their geography a little bit there. Explaining that one, Noel has dropped down to P number 3, improves his lap time but doesn't improve the position, is having to start outside the front row as Friesen and Van Hickse have overtaken him both.
Yeah, just a few more cars out there with 40 seconds to go. It looks like some drivers will miss out on some laps. Martin Krajcik out there. Good to see Martin back once again as he is coming by. I think for 30 seconds to go, I think he's just going to get this done. I think it's going to be touch and go. So that means if he doesn't, our last driver that's got a chance will be Seamus Power, who's coming around the line. He's not going to make it either. So these are just cars getting themselves ready out here today. And I must admit, this now coming up to the left is Bill Mitchell. That is named after somebody, Aussie.
Yeah. Bill Mitchell bend, it can be a deceivingly difficult corner for the Audis, but I think the most difficult one is actually the last corner here at Road America. We can talk more about that later, but I still say turn 14 is the most difficult corner in Road America, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah, it's one of those reasons why they do call it a danger corner. Qualifying is over, and Valenteus, as we said, pole position to Jacob Reed, who is in second, with Dustin Hirota in third, and then it's Ferran Garau being in fourth. Fabian Jungluff will be fifth, with Toga Hustada making a return after last week missing out in sixth. Aaron Humphrey will be seventh. Javier Del Olmo, champion of last season, in eighth, and Brendan Lim ninth, with Aitor Sintes Galindo in 10th position for the first page. We get to the second. Fernando Serrato will be 11th, with Eduard Yarmilio in 12th. Then Olivia Hayward's going to be an unlucky 13th there, with beside Seamus Power in 14th, followed by Cal Young in 15th and Stephanie Leslie in 16th. Diego Mastrada will be 17th, and Axel Villa will be the last of the time qualifiers in 18th, with Carlos Fonseca 19th, Dan Reed in 20th, and one lonely man on his own at the back, Matthew Cockerham in 21st.
Yep, and then we get to the Audis, we get to the GTOs, and on the pole is Mickey Friesen, our championship leader. Alongside him will be Jorm van Hikse and Noel Luneburg starting on row number 2 with Arturas Kundelis. That's gonna be a mighty strong first 2 rows there. Andreas Schuster starting 5th, and 10 man who is 1 letter away from a world champion, Taurus Vosberg in 6th position. Doug Loud starting 7th, he's a real veteran of this series, gonna be strong today once again. Roman Bello in 8th, Josh Brain 9th, and David Blanco in 10th position. 10 in 11th on second page, we got Franco Scuri and Mark Gamak starting in row number 6, and in row 7, Martin Krejcik, as you said, great to see him back in this series, and Bruno Santamaria rounding out your 14-car GTO field.
14 car GTOs, a few more than what it was last week, and 21 GTPs, about the same as we had. And there they are, ready for a full formation lap. And we mentioned about the temperatures earlier. The track temperatures slightly decrease, but this is not anything with no graphics or anything. This is actually very cloudy, and now the sun's coming out. You can see the cloud. It's very spotty. So you're going to get those moments where you're going to have cold track at one point, you're going to have warm track at the other. It really is going to be a mixture. And as Ozzy was saying earlier, when you come to Road America, when you get those heat differentials, it can really be a difference to those tires.
Oh yeah, definitely they got a full lap to warm them up, but you can't really warm them up at these speeds, especially with the Nissans. And then you look at the first couple of corners. First corner, it's a very fast right-hand sweeper, so you really have to trust the grip already with these Nissans especially, but also with the Audis. And that's very difficult to do when you have no way of gauging your grip before you get to the start-finish line. So you really have to trust the car. Then you run downhill through turn number 2, which I'm still not sure where it actually is, turn number 2 in Road America. And turn number 3 is the second actual corner here. Then you got that long straight line where the tires have some time to cool down, and a hard braking zone in turn number 5. So we're gonna see a lot of interesting situations, I bet, on the first couple of corners. And look out for those 2 wide, even 3 wide battles as they head down the hill into turn number 5. You can see it here through turns 4A and 4B as they come, and then in turn 5, downhill braking zone, long braking zone, especially with the Audis, and one of the prime overtaking opportunities out here in Wisconsin.
Hard braking down into turn 5 here as you come out of the Marine sweep, and then you go up the hill into 6. And I don't entirely know the whole reason why there's a turn 4 on a straight or a turn 2 on a straight. There is a little bend, it's not a full straight, but I was always told
America.
I think Joe or Adam's going to slap me, but from what I understand, it was at the old Marshall post. That's one of the reasons they used to have corner numbers. That's what I was always told. I could be wrong. There could be some people that are going to find me on social media or Discord or somewhere and attack me saying, no, you're wrong. But we could be right there. This is always a tough corner for a GT car as we hit that turn 6, because you go over that crest and you've got to be careful. Brake too late, you lock up because of that crest. Brake too early and you do risk getting hit from the back, and they hit now to the hurry downs. They won't be hurrying too much today.
Yeah, and we should actually, if I could ask a favor from the director, put Craig's socials up on the screen so people can find him easier, so they don't hate mail the wrong Craig King.
Let's not do that. I do know that I do on some on one Discord they called their bot the Craig bot, and they had to actually put next to it not King, because they decided to call their bot the same. Here's the carousel. Always love the carousel. When I see Valenteas come around here earlier today, it's a tough corner for any sort of multi-class, Aussie, because how many lines are there on a carousel?
Yes.
Thank you. That's the right answer. That is the right answer. Down to the kettle bottoms. But the kettle bottoms, they come right now. They're in 11A. And then hard braking, we always say, for Canada corners. Since the update to Road America last year, they've got a little bit more pace here, a little bit more runoff room. And then again, up to the Bill Mitchell bend. And as I was trying to say earlier with Valentinus there, if you take too much throttle, you go a bit wide here. And then you've also got the issue, you will bottom out on those curves. No issues right now, as Valentinus shortly will be getting ready to be the de facto pace car, as that pace car will dart in any second. How will he control the field? Some drivers like to go early, some drivers like to back everybody up, but he is staying a constant 94 kilometers an hour. He will wait. He's going to see a Jacob Reed Bates. He is going to try. He's not. He's waiting for the very last moment, and here we go. 40 minutes of Road America begins now, and Valentinus gets a good run with Jacob Reed right behind. The issue is, will Ferenc Grau look to make a move here on Dustin Hirota? He's going to look for it. There's a good opportunity to. He will not. Toge Sada gets past Fabian Youngblood in the back, and everybody is clear as we go to the GTOs.
Yep, clean start for the GTOs so far. They haven't approached the first corner yet. You can see some jockeying for position, and it is a lead change in the Audis, I do believe, as they all jockey down into turn number 3. I think we found turn number 2. It's actually a vertical and not a horizontal corner, a horizontal turn. That's why it's a little bit deceiving, but they get into single file heading towards turn number 5. That long straight. You can see these bricks and how much draft they really produce. A lot of straight line advantage in terms of speed when you follow behind another driver. Friesen then losing the lead. Pardon me, he was leading after the initial start, now losing the lead to Van Hikse, and then Kundelis, Vosberg and Luneburg following in close contention as they scrap through lap number 1.
Yeah, they're all scratching through. Taurus Vosberg already 2 places up in that GTO field. Heitor Sintez Galindo 2 places up in the GTPs as we go on board with the number 11 right now. And you just start to see he's having to really play it smart here. A good run out of the carousel can set you after the kink, but with so much opportunity here and so much slipstream, can he do it? This is why it is the 3rd week of 4 weeks of draft tracks after what happened at Mid-Ohio. These drivers having to really behave, and a little bit of braking there is needed in these GTOs.
Yeah, absolutely is. You have to really keep the line consistent. They don't produce much downforce, and these cars can be surprisingly understeer heading towards the corners. They do feel really heavy. Of course, 4-wheel drive machines with a lot of power. You can see Luneburg here struggling a little bit through Canada corner with those cold tires. He is under a severe attack from Schuster here, heading to the last corner, a danger corner as you mentioned earlier, with the way you can overtake into the last corner, but it's a really dangerous move, and it's a move that the driver in front is always afraid of, because if you go side by side through that last corner, you lose so much speed heading uphill towards the first corner. As you can see, Friesen bump drafting Van Hikse already at the start of lap number 2. That's interesting, Craig. They want to run away from the field.
Yeah, and I don't blame them. They know what this track can produce. Remember, you've got the start-finish straight. You've got the Marine Sweep down to turn 5. You've got the Kettle Bottles down to Canada Corner. Everywhere you look here is a straight, and they want to make sure that if they don't fight for these positions, they just stay together, hold the time up, and you can already see the top 6 are separated by a second in the GTOs and the GTPs, though. This is Carl Young, and he's having a little battle with Stephanie Leslie up ahead. It's going to be a few more laps till we see a mixture of multi-class traffic, but this is where, in these types of corners, you set it up, and now through the kink, can Carl Young do anything? He can't. We get back, and that looks a little bit of a moment there for Kundelis.
Yeah, definitely looks like a moment for Kundelis, but look at the gap that has formed between Van Hikse and Friesen now. Friesen was under attack from Kundelis and has lost about half a second of time. As a result of that, you can see Schuster there and throwing a challenge to Luneburg, actually overtaking Luneburg around the outside into the carousel. They go side by side. Will they stay on track? Yes, they will. And side by side to the king. Somebody's have to give up there, and it is going to be Schuster who takes discretion as the better part of Valor here, losing 2 positions as a result, compromising his line through the king. That is hurting as a driver. You're fighting for P number 5, and then all of a sudden 2 guys get a free overtake on you, and you're all the way down to P number 8, and you're gonna have to climb your way up the order. once again, one by one, and you see those leaders just running away from you. That can be frustrating, but you're gonna have to control your temperature and just get your head down and work again. Still got 36 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, I think what happened there, he may have got a little bit spooked. Doug was not trying to put his nose in there. He actually may have got a call of car right, and that probably spooked him. Also getting spooked right now is Fabian Youngblood, who just had Aaron Humphrey just poking his nose right there. Could not make anything of it, and we're seeing this little train. Because there is Youngblood, there is Humphrey, there is Aitor Sintes Galindo, there's Javier Del Olmo right there, and all these four just trying to battle. They're trying to see if they can hold on here. Javier already -1 for the day, Seamus +3 for the day, and Aitor, we already talked about +2. Any of these drivers can look for an opportunity down into Canada corner, and it may be Aitor Sintes Galindo who has the first shot at this. He's got to try, but good defense that you saw up ahead there from Fabian Youngblood. Put the car in the middle.
Great exit from Del Olmo there as well. You can see the championship pedigree from Del Olmo's driving, just knowing there's not an overtaking opportunity going into the Canada corner. So what he did there was brake early, get the car settled in, don't lock up the brakes as we saw Youngblood doing earlier in turn number 6 there on the same lap. And then just watching these guys battle, essentially Humphrey and Sintes Galindo are gonna battle. He knows that there's gonna be opportunities potentially at the exit of turn number 1, if not at the exit of 3. Will he take the inside? No, just look at, once again, braking early, taking his opportunities at the exit of the corner.
Man, Fabian Youngblood had a mistake going into turn 14. That set up Aitor Sintes Galindo, sorry, that was Humphrey, I mean, could not make the move. I'm surprised that Aitor unable to get that move, but now it's bunched everybody up, and behind Javier Del Olmo is getting harassed by Fernando Serrato. Javier's going to have to use the slipstream of Serrato's teammate, and they may go free wide here all of a sudden, and Fernando thinks second about it, but had he gone a bit too hard? No. He compromises his start, though, into the corner, managed to slow that car down enough. Javier is in a sandwich I don't think he wants to be in at the moment. He really wants to get past Aitor. That moment between Humphrey and Aitor did cost him quite a bit of time to the car up ahead.
Yeah, and Del Olmo is being surprisingly conservative as we move back to the Audis for a good reason. Andreas Schuster is in a great fight there. We saw Schuster earlier on taking a challenge for a 5th place. Now he has challenge for 7th instead. Bello so far ahead of him. Roman Bello with a great drive so far. Car number 25 in 7th place with the Audis, but Schuster's gonna come through on the inside. Will he get the job done on the exit? Not quite, still side by side. Gonna have to leave a space there. And remember Fernando Alonso and what he said all the time, you must leave a space, and Schuster there getting the job done on the exit, but very, very sideways indeed. That's gonna compromise his drive down the long straight line, flat out these 2 corners, giving a lot of drafting opportunities. You can see how closely bunched the lead is as well. We saw earlier when Hicks and Friesen trying to work together to get away from the rest of the pack, and here, Craig, you can see that has not worked out so far. Top 6, you can throw a blanket over them.
You can throw a blanket over them, and that's what we want to see right now. They know what they're doing. Olivia Hayward is, well, trying to get some moves up the field, and up to 13th position goes Olivia, overtaking Brendan Lim. And I'll tell you what, overtaking Lim is a very good overtake. So is for Cal Young. He's capitalized on that right behind, and he's taken a really good move there. You're not missing anything at the front of the field because Valenteus and Reed are stuck together, and they are now 3 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. If I recall right, when we did the Nürburgring, this was
oh, that's a late break. That's way too late going into the corner. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's a bit too late, and that's going to cost. I was saying, as we look at Friesen having the battle, last time we saw Reed and Valenteus go toe-to-toe, it was the epic final lap at the Nordschleife. I think there's a few less corners for that today as we keep our eyes on Mickey Friesen.
Yeah, 14 versus what, 170. How many corners are there at Nordschleife? Numbers, estimates vary between 80 and 170. Regardless, a lot of corners up there in Germany. Bit fewer here in Wisconsin, but the common thing, of course, between Nürburgring and Wisconsin is that both have a lot of Germans. So that culture is very strong up here in Midwest US. You can see Friesen there once again not going for that overtake, instead opting to work together with Van Hikse. And that's gonna throw a message to Kundelis. Kundelis is like, okay, if you're not gonna overtake, then I'm gonna overtake. We're gonna be inside here to 3.
Yeah, and this is what I don't think they want to do, because this can allow Van Hixie to get ahead. It looks like Candelas was not happy about this whole bump drafting, and now all of a sudden you've got Friesen and Candelas side by side. The slipstream goes to Friesen. He'll hold on to this, but look at that gap. There is a 2-car gap now between Friesen and Van Hixie, and everybody behind here, they're trying to jostle for position. If you call this the peloton, there's an issue. Somebody wants to lead the peloton and the others won't let them, and that's not good. Gundelis may lose out to P3 here. He does not. All right, boys, put it back together. I think that is your little shot of, we know you want to do something, you can't. Meanwhile, in the background, it looks like Josh Brain has gone around. I'll have a look what happened with that. Friesen now, I don't know if that's a little smile or if he's on full concentration.
It was, but trust me, when you wear a Red Hat Linux t-shirt, you know what you're doing.
I can report Josh Brain had a bit of a moment going too hot into turn 6. And he went around as Friesen goes by. I'm looking at the GTPs where they are. They're 6 seconds behind the back of this GTO field. So get ready. If possibly, yeah, definitely start of next lap. Don't think this lap we will see the mixture of GTP traffic. In fact, we already have, because the last car, Santa Maria, is in the middle of the GTPs.
Absolutely is, and interesting there. Oh, you can see Jacob Reed there. Yeah, they're starting to catch up to the GTOs. As you mentioned just now, Jacob Reed having to be behind the Audi through Canada corner. Of course, as the old saying goes, you can't really gain time in traffic, but you can lose a lot of it. And what I mean is that you can catch up to somebody, but it's impossible to be faster in traffic than being faster on clean track. But what you have to do here, especially as you get the first lappers, this is the most difficult part. You see all the Audis bunched up together. You just have to be patient and you have to think in advance. Don't think about the next corner or next braking zone. Think about what happens next. When do I overtake? Right, go through the inside here. 10, can I outbrake him to the next one? No, I can't. Just wait for the exit, be patient, go on the throttle here and make sure that you don't have to lift the throttle on the exit. Great job by Jacob Reed there. He's not really getting lucky at all with the Audis. He's having to really stay behind them through the corners, but he's doing a great job. And now you can see the massive queue forming up. They're fighting each other too, and suddenly the track is blocked. That would have been a perfect opportunity to pass a couple of cars, a couple of Audi leaders into turn number 5. Remember, the Nissan has a much shorter braking zone than the Audi, but he can't do it because there's simply no physical room on track. So he has to wait through 5 and through turn number 6, and you can see what it does to the gap between Valentinius and Jacob Reed. It's up to 3 seconds in a couple of corners.
Yeah, and Jacob's almost gone off there at turn 7. He really wanted to try and get close there, but he could not. Now, these drivers have to go through all that. That's Aaron Humphrey in the silver car, Aitor Sintez Galindo. Remember when we said there were so many lines around the carousel? Look at these GTPs trying to go around the outside here of the King. Now, the King's going to be very dangerous. We talk about it. Sintez Galindo goes for a 10 and almost made the mistake. That's a very uncharacteristic move there of Aitor Sintez Galindo. He holds on to it, but now welcome to the traffic in Wisconsin. You got nowhere to go. Is up ahead. Arturus Kundelis is still trying to make an overtake. Serato as well is in the pits after an incident.
Turn the highway to the bloody danger zone here. That's what's going on here. Oh, and there's a big crash there behind them, but you can see all of them bunching up. That's the GTO leaders and the GDP meat pack all in the same picture, and really using those opportunities as they exit the last corner. You could see there one of the Nissans, I think that was actually Jungblut, who had to brake a little bit behind the Audis. All of the Nissans behind him got a better drive out of the last corner, so they all jostled for position, all managed to somehow get through onto the main straight. But you, as I mentioned one lap ago, you have to think so much in advance. These situations, they come at you so quick, you never quite know what the Audis are doing. You're just hoping that and praying that they stick to the racing line, but they have no inclination. They don't have to do so. Remember, the Audis don't have blue flags. They don't have the usual lapped car rules. They're allowed to race because they're in a different class. So what the Nissans have to do is sort of find their way to get through as predictably and as quickly as possible. You can see the replay of the incident there, and that's in carousel. Javier Del Olmo there. We followed his progress earlier on, and just catching up to the Audi at the exit of the corner, and then a slight contact with the car behind him. Yeah, heading to the kink. just a slight bit of contact, but that's all it takes when you're heading 270 k's an hour, 160 miles an hour into a corner, and a lot of cars getting caught up there as the track gets blocked. But honestly, that could have been so much worse. Who was that who just went? Yeah, who was that who went Days of Thunder in the black Nissan GTP?
I don't know, but some of those early cars would not have got any yellow flags I can report. Edward Emilio, Olivier Hayward, Fernando Serrato, all towed in the pit. Franco Scurry, Martin Craytrick in the pits for the GTO. We saw Javier Duomo with no rear wing. He's still driving out there, and these four are still coming together. And even, I'll tell you what, the top 5 in the GTOs are still together after everything that has happened, especially with these. Youngblood, Pistada, Humphrey, Sintez Galindo, all together. And Fabian may be able to get a move. Let's have a look at this again. And it's Dan Reed. Dan Reed may need to win a lottery, may need to buy a lottery ticket right now, but at the same time, you're getting yellow flags here. I'm just sorry I have to call it. That is no, please.
You can go through it, Dan. Believe me, you can go through it.
That, unfortunately, that is, I applaud you for what you've done there, but at the same time, that's why the yellow flags exist. So we go on now. Mickey Friesen getting a bit held up there from Matthew Cockerham as he's trying to make his way through. Like I said, the top 5 all together. Doug Cloud, unfortunately, down to 8 after that moment earlier with Aitor taking the Joker lap through the kink. And now Friesen unable to look for a move on Van Hixie. And he's just going to have to wait now. They've gone through one lot as Bello trying to go through. They've gone through one lot of traffic. Now you've got to start thinking, how do you go through the traffic again if... Actually, no. How do you survive the traffic again if you're these GTOs?
Yeah, because the... well, the GTOs are kind of... they're sort of innocent in traffic. I mean, you can see a little bit when the Nissans are coming, but what you need to do if you're a GTO is just hold to your line, basically, and hope that somebody doesn't throw too late of a move, and hope that the Nissans sort of behave in a way, you know, behave, but just don't dive bump into the corners. So essentially the key to survival with the Audis is roll a natural 20. You can't really do much other than be predictable. That's always the key to surviving in traffic, is be predictable. Telegraph what you're doing. You don't want to throw any fakes because you're not benefiting in any way, shape, or form from it. If anything, you're just making the race a whole lot worse for yourself and for others involved as well. And you can see that Sintez Galindo there in a great battle with Seamus Power, I think it is.
Yeah, made a mistake coming out of 14, and that allowed Seamus Power to come back into this fight, and these two going into the battle. Be interested to see if Seamus gets a lot of overspeed here. They're actually battling for the championship, and you think about how close these two are. Very interesting to see what they can do, but nothing yet up ahead of them. They're trying to catch back up to that group of 3. Youngblood, Hisada, Humphrey, nothing's changed there. But also Jacob Reed up ahead. We're not going to go on him, but just that gap between him and Valenteus has stayed 3.6. They are identical on pace at the moment, and it just goes to show that one moment in traffic, and speaking of traffic, Doug Cloud getting a move past Robin Bello, it just goes to show traffic giveth traffic, taketh away. There is Doug with the bandana of luck, and he continues on. Cool, calm, and collective.
Yeah, indeed, Doug Clouter. I've been racing for quite a while, but none the slower. And look at the way he's just working the car, not really making mistakes. And of course, H-pattern shifter with these Audis. You can see him working the gear stick there on the right-hand side, just going up the gears. I think just from second to third, then third up to fourth, little dab of brakes going in the corner, and you have to heel and toe as well, heading into the braking zones, and that's the most difficult bit. You can see the car just speeding up flames as you go down the gears, then up them once again. A lot of physical work driving this car. It may look easy, but it's anything but. You got around 800 horsepower going to all 4 wheels with that Audi GTO, and then you got H-pattern shifter, and it's a proper old school car. So if you're into that sort of racing, if you're watching the Group B rally videos, for example, on YouTube, try the Audi on iRacing. It's a lot of fun, and it's a real driver's car. One of the last driver's cars, really.
Yeah, it's a great car. You can also see how much work he was putting in there just on the GTOs quickly. Kundala's got past Mickey Friedman and Aaron Humphrey looking to try and get through one or two of these drivers at the moment. Hisada is the man in the middle with the lucky 7 on his car today, and Fabian Junglup up ahead in the 10th. 5 seconds between these three and Ferenc Grau, who is sitting in 4th place. Managed to keep up the pace, but they continue to battle on. Continue to look for opportunities as they go halfway and side by side. Kundalis now is taking the lead from Van Hixie. This is what he wanted. He was happy enough to play the train game, but no longer he's had a much. The crossover, though, as Ozzy's saying, Van Hixie's going to get this back. This is going to be good for the others. In fact, almost Mickey Friesen hit in the back there of Kundalis, and now he's just looking. Remember, he's having to do this one hand. He's on an H pattern as well, like most of these drivers. He's trying to go one-handed here, and now he's going to go look for the move. It's going to be so tough here. He's almost coming close together. There's almost a touching. He's going to get that position back, but is there going to be another crossover here?
There is, that man's a robot. I mean, look at his expression as he's driving. He's side by side battling for 2nd place. And, you know, I think Mickey Friesen was looking for a 2-in-1 there. But at the exit of the corner, he had to lift off just a little bit because of Kundelis on the outside. So he had to lift off just a little bit, and as a result of that, could only pass Kundelis and couldn't get through Van Hixen into turn number 5. So I think he was looking for a little bit more there. He was waiting patiently for his chance. Well, once again, Mickey Friesen finding himself in 2nd place. Now, the interesting thing is, well, 2 interesting things here. One, look at the rear of that number 17 car. Look at that rear wing and compare it to normal. It should be straight. It ain't. There's a slight hint of damage on the rear of that car. Now, I don't think it's affecting him too much, not in terms of handling, not in terms of aerodynamics just yet, but look out for the effect of that as the race progresses further. It might affect the balance of the car, which might affect the tire wear, which in turn might make this a little bit more difficult for the Carolina driver. Another thing, will he wait patiently behind Van Hixen this time, or is he going for the move and trusting the fact that with his pace he can potentially run away from Kundelis, from Bosberg and from Luneburg?
Be interesting to see. I just went to have a look back there, and Friesen picked up that damage a couple laps ago at turn 5 when Kundelis accidentally went into the back of it, just a bit too much speed. Not sure if Mickey had a misshift or anything like that, but quite a bit of a hit there, and there you see it's a little bit of a wave. We don't really want to see a wave today, but you can wave to us in the live chat of the broadcast if you want. To continues on. One thing I wanted to say about Mickey, he's got that H pattern quite far away there. He's almost full stretch on his hand while he's going in higher gears. I was looking at that. That's got to be uncomfortable after a while. There we go. You just saw it there. He's probably in 4th gear right now, maybe 5th. If he looks to go a different way, but side by side he's going to go. Going to have to keep his eyes. You just see those eyes. Just look to the left there, and he goes side by side once again.
Oh my! That's a bit of a push from Kundelis, but good job from Friesen keeping the throttle down, keeping the throttle pin down. The all-wheel drive system definitely working overtime there as he got pushed to the grass. But a bit of a hip check from Kundelis. Lithuania, not known for their ice hockey prowess, but he certainly showed a bit of aggression there. Let's see if that's gonna come back to haunt him. The battle for 2nd place is heating up in the GTOs, and the battle for 8th place is heating up in the GTPs as well.
Yeah, I don't think Seamus or Aitor do a little bit of ice hockey. They may just have a little bit of soccer there, but regardless, there's going to be no issues on this battle. They've been battling hard, and all race you have to start to wonder, when is Seamus going to get by if you're keeping tabs? Seamus +5 for the day, Aitor +2 for the day. They are the highest drivers to be a different position. Yes, the top 7 have stayed the top 7 since the start as they continue on, and it does not look like a good run here out of the carousel for Seamus. Should be able to catch back up. Unfortunately, just catching up does not help you. And as we do also just a quick look there on the timing tower for those GTP leaders, you can see they're in the traffic because all of a sudden Reed has managed to gain a couple seconds on Valenteus.
Yeah, so Reed is now, it was 3.5 seconds, it's now 1 second. So as you said earlier, traffic give it, traffic take it away. And is it now taken away from Audurus Valenteus? We'll have to wait and see. We're on board with Aaron Humphrey now as he is in 7th place. trying to catch up to Togo Hisada, car number 7. Hisada taking the middle line in defense, letting Humphrey make the decision. Humphrey looking for a late launch up to the inside. Is it gonna work out? No, not quite late enough on brakes. And Togo Hisada, of course, don't try to outbrake Togo. It usually doesn't end well, and there you go. Humphrey just running into Hisada, breaking into turn number 3. Just as I was saying, don't try to outbrake Togo. It doesn't usually end well, and here you can see why. And oh, and Mickey Friesen, he's around in the last corner.
He's around the GTO traffic. The GTP traffic was coming by, and same thing again. It was a lock-up in the front by Johan van Hixie. It caused Friesen to get hard on the brakes, and he went bumper cars with Arturas Kundelis. He's lost some time as well. We're going to see it right now. The lock-up there from the front, and he loses controls as Friesen. He's trying to hold on to it. He holds on, but the only way that Kundelis can go is right into the side. Heavy damage to Friesen. All the way down to 11th, Kundelis into 8th. The top 5 with the train, it's now a top 3 that's the train, and you're looking at them right now. Norberg in 3rd, Taurus Vosberg in 2nd, and Johan van Hixie in the lead.
Yeah, and look at Ferran Grauter trying to get up to the podium in the GTP, trying to catch up to Helöder. Helöder so far holding on to the position, but they got heavy traffic as well, heading into the penultimate corner. Oh, that's a brave move from Helöder. Not gaining too much, unfortunately, for him, because he had another GTO to navigate through. And then you can see Grauter getting a little bit caught up in the last corner, having to brake early and losing a second of time as a result of that. But Helöder there, just looking at the mirrors, trying to see, okay, where is the car behind me? He's a little bit further away. Once again, breathe and then get ready for another lap. We still got 15 minutes to go, but tell you what, Craig, that's our GTO Championship 1 and 2. Mickey Friesen and Arturas Kundelis involved in an incident, and that's gonna throw a wrench into their championship challenge and allow drivers like Uwe Trengreit, like Noel Luneburg, and like Josh Brain to catch up to them in championship.
Well, thankfully, it's a super season, so they get an extra bye week or an extra drop week to use in the championship. And I think we need to stop praising Mickey Friesen, because every time something good happens for Mickey Friesen in a race, bad luck has come with him this year. I think we may need to do some sort of sacrifice to try and help him go, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. As now we see Roman Bello, and he is now in a really good position. He's up to 6th position, battling Doug Cloud. Doug's only 2.5 seconds away from a podium, from Andreas Schuster. He's closer to the podium now than he was earlier in the race, but he has to hold off Roman Bello, and with all the GTP traffic looking like it's past him now, he's just going to have to rely on his own speed. There might be one more pass of that GTP traffic later in the race, but they can't bet on it.
No, they can't. It's gonna be nip and tuck really for those guys. So Bello is one of those guys who's gained from the earlier incident, now up to 6th position, as mentioned here, and not having too much of a gap to Doug Cloud ahead. You can see there Cloud maybe 1 second ahead. Meanwhile, Valentillus the fastest lap of the race, but the gap still down to only 1 second. Oh, and that's Ferran Grau, and he's been off in turn number 13. Bill Mitchell-Bendit looks like. We'll have to wait and see what happened there, but Ferran Grau now down to 6th place in the Scalindo, just ahead of him. Not for long though, maybe.
Not for long. He's actually going to get good. This is interesting. Maybe Aitor's got too much downforce today. Very interesting to see his teammate go by. Or damage, exactly. I did see what happened to Ferran Grau. A bit too much speed. The rear just started going up the top of the hill at Bill Mitchell, losing in the rear, keeping it out of the wall, but he went down a couple positions. Not what he wanted to do. Fabian Jumblov is now a couple seconds ahead of him, but will his teammate Sintet Galindo go for a response? He is in that battle still with Seamus Power behind. Not looking this time. Here is that GSRC replay. Now remember I said too much speed and you could go a little bit wide. He actually clips the inside as we go here. You see just there, loses the rear. Does almost look a bit of weight transfer issue there.
Yeah, definitely, but doing a good job of locking up the brakes and making sure he doesn't lose control any more than that. So just taking the loss, so to speak, taking the L and letting it slide, losing a lot of time, losing a bit of tire wear as well, but crucially not gonna end up into the wall, not trying to save it when it's already gone. And that happens so easily with these cars when I think what he was trying to do is he was behind another driver. He was behind Jungblut, quite close there. Behind Herröder. That's gonna cause dirty air, which is affecting him in the high-speed corners. So he was trying to turn in a little bit earlier into the penultimate corner, and as a result of that, clipping the curb a little bit on the inside. Now these are ground effect cars, so once you get air underneath the car, you're gonna lose that ground effect for a moment. That's gonna cause the back end to just slip out on you. That combined with the very stiff suspension means that when they catch even a bit of air, when they bounce up even a little, they just lose traction instantly. So good job from Grau to realize the situation and applying the correct maneuver. So many drivers, I think about 90, maybe 95% of drivers, potentially myself included, would have tried to save it. Because that's what you try to do as a racing driver in the situation, and just end up overcorrecting yourself into a concrete wall and game over.
Yeah, I would have done the same myself. And that's why I'm not out there. I'm in my nice cozy booth here today. 10 minutes to go. And as you see on the timing tower, the top 2 in GTP are less than a second between each other. The top 3 in the GTOs, there's a second between them. So it's all ongoing. And so is this battle still. Ferenc Grau, Sintez Galindo, Seamus Power. And in fact, Fabian Jungblut, Feren's done a really good job to catch up to Fabian. As I said that, a commentator's curse. He's the one up in front that has lost a little bit of time there. They're going to lose half a second to Fabian Jungblut there, just that one mistake, and everyone has to check back up. Is there going to be an opportunity here? It's very interesting. I don't see any chance Aitor's going to make this move.
Look at the back end of Aitor's car as Seamus comes closer. You can see it from this. Oh, actually coming to the inside. And yeah, that's an orchestrated move. That's an orchestrated move from Grau. Grau just letting him through. And is he gonna end up letting Seamus Power through? Might have to force the issue around the outside into Bill Mitchell. And that's a brave one, Seamus, but not over yet.
Not over yet, but Ferren tried to make the response. He could not make the response, and he loses out. And if that was team orders, well, there's no team orders. It's all a bit of fun there, but maybe he knew that was going to have to happen. Mark Gamak also in a little battle with Roman Bello at this moment. Arturas Kundelis, there he is. He's got a lot of damage on that car. He is trying to hold it back. I can report Ferenc Grau did get past Seamus Power as they hit to turn 1. Going to be very interesting what left to see. Can Mark make a move here? Even more, what can Kundelis do with that damage? That's a lot of aero drag that's going to be happening on that nose of Arturas Kundelis' car.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is, because the Audi is, of course, so aerodynamically sound otherwise. Definitely no drag in that brick whatsoever, but yeah, I know what you mean. It's gonna have to be a tough defense. And might not be something that he can work out during the course of this race. Meanwhile, Luneburg and Vosberg going at it side by side, heading to 1.
Side by side heading into 1, and Lundberg's the car on the right. He'll take the inside. They slow down all the way, and Lundberg with a very nice move there. He cut off any chance of a over-under, and Vosberg, it's not a good overtake into turn 3. He's going to have to wait, but that has cost them a lot of time. Elsewhere as well, remember I said the GTPs may go through traffic one more time? They've been held up by a couple of them, and the leaders are less than half a second between one another. A little bit of bumping from Vosberg. He's going to bump Noel Lundberg. He's not looking for an overtake. He is still not looking for an overtake. He lifts out here. Going to be interesting. I did hear some reports earlier in the week. I have been doing a little bit of snooping. Some drivers said they had to do a little bit of fuel saving at the end of this race. I wonder if that is happening right now.
Just put some more fuel in.
They can't.
Oh yeah, because Audi is limited to 85. You're correct. Yeah. So they have to do a little bit of fuel saving. I think that that might play into it. That is true. But Luneburg and Vosberg, they've been pretty much in a scrap all race long. Meanwhile, the overall lead, look at Czech Breed round the outside, not quite able to pull it off.
Not quite able to pull it off. Very interesting. He tried to go around the outside of turn 5. That would have been an all-time move. And now he's got to try and fight on. 3 seconds up ahead is lap GTP traffic. The next GTO, you're looking at about 5 seconds. So if you're looking down that line, they may hit them coming into Canada corner. So this could be vital. They don't know that right now because the relatives will not be showing that. They just see Javi Del Olmo and Diego Mistretta ahead of them in the GTPs. So they're going to have to wait. Not a good run for Jacob Reed as he comes out of the carousel into the kink they go, but he keeps it tighter. He may be able to keep a bit more speed. He has the overspeed now working for him. He's going to catch right up to the back with 6 minutes to go. Hard braking into Canada. A better line, a little bit of a slide though. Now it's squeaky bum time, as they say in soccer, Ozzy.
Yeah, definitely so. I wonder if Valentinius knows what parking the bus means. Definitely gonna try it. Look at that exit there. Unseen was Jacob Reed heading to the last corner. Where is the Audi exactly? But he's able to get the draft up the hill. I wonder if he knows how his straight line speed is compared to Audius and what he can do on the last lap. Up the hill there, nip and truck 3 wide, but they make it through. Now Jacob Reed has the inside line and just about that Audi gets out of the way. Number 21, but here comes Valentinius. Round the outside into number 3, trying to take it back. Keep it steady, guys. Leave the space. They work the space brilliantly, and they're side by side heading into 5. This is motor racing.
This is IMSA Vintage. Valentinius has not had a serious challenge in a year, and Jacob Reed has come to the party, and they'll go into turn 5. Once again, the outside for Jacob Reed, not making it. Is there an over-under, a switchback? No. Valentinius knows what he does. He has to defend, and he went straight to the middle. This is interesting now, because this is the closest Valentinius has had to work for a win, and I mean seriously. We're not talking the last of first challenges that he sets himself. This is actual racing now. His is probably the hardest he has had to work, and I don't want to try and jinx a man. He's looking to get that 9K rating back. He is a vintage driver. He is 9K just from vintage driving.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of iRating here on display, a lot of driving skill here on display, as well as they catch up to more and more Audis. Here are the Audi leaders now, just ahead of them, the GDO lead group. Reed round the outside, heading to Canada corner. You can do it round the outside here, but not with the traffic. Just getting blocked a little bit by Duck Cloud. Duck, of course, innocent. He's just trying to follow his own line. Jacob Reed has to try another day. You can see Noel Lunebrook there, trying to catch up to Audius Valentinius. Van Hickse there, of course, in the lead. Van Hickse, Lunebrook, Vosberg, they're about to have some company, as is Schuster. It's gonna be last couple of minutes with the GDPs, catching up to the GDOs, and here comes Reed once again.
Here comes Reed once again. You've got the lead change in the GTO. Have you got a lead change in the GTP? And around the outside for Jacob Reed in turn 1. He's got it stuck, and now he's going to have to go on the defense. He goes on the defense, and in front, the lead battle for the GTOs are changing. Van Hickse, Lumberg side by side. We got to go 3 wide, and through goes Reed. Valentinius has the overspeed. What is going to happen in the GTOs? They're side by side. Valentinius with the overspeed. The hard braking. Now Reed has the inside. Can Valentinius hold this around the outside? A little bit of bumping. They go, and still side by side. Will they go side by side into 6? You bet your bottom dollar they'll go into 6. How about the kink? You bet your second dollar. And Valentinius cannot hold it. Van Hickse held it for the lead. What is going on? And Atos Sintes Galindo up into 4th.
But overshooting on the braking, and that's gonna mean Youngblood is gonna take the position back into turn number 5. It's an absolute melee here. I don't know what's in water in Wisconsin, and it's not usually water in the bottle here at Wisconsin, but this time it's going absolutely crazy. And we're still not over. We still got 2.5 minutes on the clock, and look at Jacob Reed. He's tried everything. He's thrown the kitchen sink at the man, but the Lithuanian is not budging. He's still holding on to that lead for now. But what can Jacob Reed do? And this is one of the opportunities I was talking about earlier. Can he, with a good enough exit, pass Valentinius to the line from the last corner? Not this lap, but it's one of his chances heading into the last corner. But this time it looks Valentinius just has a bit of a better exit, that Jacob Reed may have to take this lap a little bit more steadily. Meanwhile, Sintes Galindo not taking it steady at all, nor is Youngblood, and nor is Seamus Power, who is joining the mix as well, and they're catching up to the Audis now. Hello, round number whatever it is.
Yeah, round number whatever it is, it's the penultimate lap for both classes. That's all we know. And Lundberg trying to get that move onto Van Hixie. Could not get it going. Seamus Power trying to hold on to that battle with Sintez Galindo. And they're all bunched up. Sorry. Fabian Jungler, Sintez Galindo, Power, Grau, all bunched up together. They're in a little battle. This is Taurus Vosberg. Everywhere you look right now is battled on battled. You do not want to miss these final 90 seconds plus of this battle. Is Vosberg going to look for a move? He can't look for a move. What about Lundberg? Lundberg going to look for a move. He's going to find a way past Van Hixie. He's going to catch that move. Brilliant move there from Noel Lundberg to take the lead. A little bit of bumping as they all come in. Vosberg looks to try for an opportunity. Dustin Hiroda is third in the GTP. Just said, excuse me, I've got to go. We've got to go back to the rest of the GTPs.
Oh, and they're going 3 wide, heading out of turn number 7 into number 8. They're gonna have a fight all the way through carousel. Are they gonna go side? Oh, that's a rhetorical question. Of course, they're gonna go side by side. But Eidur Sintez-Galindo losing that position for a moment to Seamus Power, who's made an amazing climb through the field. Car number 15, now 5th overall, and he's gonna catch up to Fabian Jungblut next. He may have to be, he may be within one position of the podium, and you can see just how close they're taking through the kink. Everything's thrown into this race, and the risk factor is maximal. Now they just kind of have to maybe be a little bit careful.
Not what he wanted. Not what he
hook.
wanted. Aitor had that move around the outside, and that was just Seamus just having a little bit of a moment there. He thought he had a bit more space to play with. He did not. That is a racing incident. The leaders are on the white flag. Aitor is on the white flag. Fabian's on the white flag. The lead GTO is about to take the white flag. Where does Jacob Reed look for a move here? I'm looking up ahead. The only lap traffic there is in front of him is GTPs, not the GTOs. I can report Seamus Power has unfortunately had to toe off that moment. A mistake there from Jacob Reed. Maybe he has overcooked it. Van Hixie may have also overcooked it. Vosberg continues to look for opportunity. He's not getting anything yet.
No, and Luneburg there, the winner of the opening round of the season at Nürburgring Nordschleife, is now looking for his second of the season. He'd be the first driver in these Audis to win 2 races this season. That's how close it's been. Meanwhile, Valentius looks to be fending off the challenge from Jacob Reed. Reed is half a second, 6/10 away. He's getting the draft through this straight line, but it's not gonna be enough to catch into Canada corner. And it's gonna be so close, but so far away potentially from Jacob Reed, as we're watching the Audis battle for the win on the small screen. We'll have to get back to that later on. Reed made a mistake in Canada corner, trying hard as he must, and as a result of that, it is going to be Audrius Valentius coming to the checkered flag.
Wow, what a drive there. Valentius was pushed to his limit today, and you've got to feel that Jacob Reed will take that P2. What a race those two have given us. Hiroda's 22-second part behind them, and as you were seeing in that little box, Van Hixie tried to make an over-under, could not make the over-under, and we're looking at other drivers. And hang on 1 second, we may have to go back because there's been a mistake. Vosberg's gone off the track right there that you see, and Van Hixie's going to retake it. That other battle we were looking at, Ferenc Grau trying to keep away that Carl Young, not going to happen. Now, is there anything left here for Lundberg? Can he hold off Van Hixie?
What can Van Hixie do for the lead?
He's going to try for the lead, but this is going to be a slipstream, I think, Ozzy. This is going to be a drag race. A good run here from Van Hixie may do it, but let's see who opens up the corner most. It's Van Hixie. He's opened up that corner very much. Had he gone too wide, though?
Just get the cameras out. Who was it? Leslie or Reed? I think Dan Reed by an inch. By an actual inch. And more amazing finishes here. Road America. I mean, sit down UPS, sit down TNT, sit down US Post, and sit down DHL, because this Road America race has just delivered it all.
I am the mailman here, and I don't think I've delivered anything so hard today. That gap between Reed and Leslie, 0.008. Closer than the winning battle in the GTPs last week, which was 0.009. The race is official, and we can give you those results. My oh my, can we give you those results? Because actually, Javier Olmo takes the fastest lap at the end of that race. He does the Daniel Ricciardo, but it's Valentius who does the Max Verstappen and holds off Jacob Reed for an incredible victory today. And just look how fast those two were in the race. Dustin Hirota finishes third, 25 seconds behind. That is no slouch there. That is just a standard that Reed and Valenteis gave us today. Fabian Jumblov will come home in fourth with Aitor Sintez Galindo +5 today for fifth. Then Farron Grau will be sixth. And Carl Young +8 for the day to finish seventh, with Aaron Humphrey in eighth. Brendan Lim in ninth, and Togo Hisada. What a comeback for Togo there in 10th. Dan Reed +9 in 11th, with Stephanie Leslie in 12th. And Axel Villar will be +5 into 13th, with Matthew Cockerham +7 into 14th. And there's Carlos Fonseca in 15th, and Javier Del Olmo, the last man on the lead lap, in 16th position. And then we get to those laps down. Seamus Power, who had to tow at the end of the race. Diego Mastrada, who got caught in those wrecks earlier, as did Olivia Hayward. And Edouard Jamilio had a similar accident earlier in the race, with Fernando Serrato 17 laps down at the end of that race to round out the 21 GTPs.
Yep, and then we get to the Audis. Noel Lundberg with his second win of the season, just 0.2 of a second ahead of Joram van Hikse, who was trying his all but couldn't quite get the run down from the last corner. Taurus Vosberg, who was in the lead battle all race long as well, his best result of the season, rounding out the podium. Andreas Schuster fourth, and Doug Cloud with a valiant fifth, ahead of Arturas Kundelis and Roman Bello, Roman Gang Unite. Josh Brain in 8th position, Mark Emack 9th, and David Blanco rounding out your top 10. That is within 26 seconds. Then you got Mickey Friesen, who managed to finish 11th despite all the damage, despite all the drama, but that's going to be a drop week for him in the championship. Bruno Santamaria, last of the finishers in 12th, and two retirements, Martin Krejcik and Franco Scurri.
Well, for those who are probably going to ask, my voice is still here. Do not worry about that, Ozzy. That was, I think it's safe to say, that was what we expected from a Road Atlanta race, regardless of what series.
Yeah, apart from the fact that we're in Road America.
Yes, we are in Road America, sorry, elsewhere. We do have some interviews ready to right now, I believe.
Saving your grace.
Saving my grace. We're going to gloss over that quickly. We may have some interviews, and we do indeed, as coming home in 5th place after starting in 10th. Aitor Sintez Galindo. With Aitor, we did see some really hot battling out there today. We also saw you go for a little bit of a joyride at the kink at one stage, but that looked a very action-packed race.
Absolutely, yeah. I just finished chugging half a bottle of water because, yeah, I actually needed that. But yeah, today it was quite eventful, I would say. But yeah, it was quite eventful. I thought it was because Serrato said me that there was a melee, and it was like, maybe I caused it because I went into the grass to try to pass through. Well, it wasn't the case, but still. And also the battle with Seamus, I'm ashamed about the incident. Actually, we were like fighting very, very clearly, and in my opinion, I think it was just an incident. Like it wasn't clear of me, and I had to come back to track somewhere. But regardless, P5, it's 25-22, 16 points with Heroles 20. Quite a small deficit, but yeah. Satisfactory result nonetheless.
I mean, I will agree with you from my standpoint. That was a racing incident between you and Seamus. It's just one of those things, battling hard. And the good thing for you, though, as well, with Eric Neef not picking up points today as he's not here, technically that gives you the lead of the championship. I know we're not halfway through the series, but still being able to be at the top there without a victory, that's got to feel good being consistent all season.
Yes, but still there's a feeling in the back. It's like, yeah, I'm consistent. I'm showing up all weeks. So far, I didn't have any big incident knocking on with that. No incident so far this season. It's week 5, so it's good. Still good. We need at least a win. But how Eric and Adrius and Jacob Reed, they all so fast and so so clean actually, because they don't get into incidents because, well, it's IMSA Vintage. When it's in IMSA Vintage, you always pick up the pieces from stranded guys. There was an incident with Togo and I don't remember the other one, but yeah, there was, picking up the pieces. It's always been my case all the time, not being the fastest. But yeah, I still have to, if I want to win this, I have to be more serious in terms of pace, because even though it was good enough, I still think I have to be a 10 or 2 faster to be consistent for the championship.
Yeah, we do see that. I think you're getting the crowd of Mr. Consistent at the moment, taking that from Javier from last season, with just staying there. And you say you've got to be in it to win it. And I started the broadcast. I was saying this was the 4 weeks, the month of draft and train tracks. We're at Red Bull Ring next week. I don't think it's going to be as chaotic as this, but are you expecting to have this similar slipstream battle that we've seen the last 3 weeks?
Good question. I think it's very small. I think we're gonna do 108s, 109s. No, that's Formula One pace. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think the most important thing is if it splits or not, because these 2 weeks with a small Audi field, there's not so much chaos. Well, there was chaos today, but I mean, being here, I know it could be much more chaos than usual. But we'll have to see. I wasn't very good at this track personally, so I have to, again, have to be better, and I have to be better in this particular track altogether. But we'll have to see. It's a very interesting. In terms of traffic, will be quite clean because it's wide and lots of long corners. Probably turn 2 can be problematic with the Audis, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, looking forward for next week.
You've heard from the vintage driver, the vintage IMSA Vintage driver, the veteran of the series, Datos into Galindo. Wanting people to get in those GTOs and do pick up that car. It is a blast to drive. Hey, Tor, before we let you go for the evening, it's only fair that we let you have a few shout-outs for the end of this interview.
Well, as usual, thanks guys for the interview, the broadcast, family, friends for watching, my teammates, and yeah, thanks guys, and see you at the Red Bull Ring.
We hopefully will see you at the Red Bull Ring. That was P5 for the day, Aitor Sintes Galindo. And that is going to do it for the day. So I'm going to thank the team once again. That is Ozzy, that is Daniel, that is Dougie. And of course, make sure to check out our social media and check out that beautiful face there with Ozzy. Look at those sunglasses. Don't forget to check out our social media, as I said. Don't forget to check out our social media, our website, and our merchandise store. And do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you do not miss another intense moment here on GSRC. As I said, next race, next weekend, it's Red Bull Ring, same time, same Saturday. And also here you see other broadcasts that we will be showing later in this week. So we do hope you've enjoyed joining us today as much as we have enjoyed bringing this race to you. And hopefully when my throat is better, we will hope to see you next week. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we will see you on the track.
Yeah.